Good morning, boys and girls. We are going to be focusing today on lesson 4.7. WALT used properties to multiply decimals. So please write down your WALT and then join me in the lesson. Excuse me, you've already done the solve and share, and I'm going to try and do it one way with you. It says the weight of a small bag of raisins is 3/10 times the weight of a large bag. The large bag weighs 8/10 of a pound. What is the weight of the small bag? So we're actually going to multiply these two numbers. There are a few ways you can do this. If I write them this way, I'm going to multiply them mentally because I know that 8 times 3 equals 24. Now I really just need to place my decimal. I have 2 decimal places in the answer, and so I need 2 decimal places in my answer. So my final answer is going to be 24 hundredths. Is it ounces? Pounds. There it is. A little less than a quarter pound. The other way is I could go ahead and do the traditional method. 0 is 0 plus 2 is 2. And then as we discussed in class, we don't really need that row of zeros, but I'll do it just in case. 4, 2, 1, 2 decimal places in the problem, 2 decimal places in the answer. There we have it. Either way, we end up with 24 hundredth pounds. Let's do a couple problems together. You've been practicing multiplying decimals, but I want to show you something that they have. They're focusing on properties right now. And when we talk about properties, we're talking about things like the associative property, the commutative property. Remember, the associative is grouping numbers. The commutative is being able to move numbers around and still get the same answer. So sometimes we can use these properties to help us solve problems. They're showing you that there are other ways of expressing these problems. It says use fractions to rewrite the multiplication expression. So 6/10 times 9/10 is in fraction form 6/10 times 9/10. Or if we use the associative to group them differently, 6 times 1/10 times 9 times 1/10. If we look at this, it's really just showing different ways of writing these numbers. If we do the fraction approach, we end up with 54 100ths or 0.54. Okay, don't worry too much about this. I just want you to have a familiarity with it because fractions and decimals mean the same thing. Okay, let's come right down here to the guided practice. I'm just going to show you for this first one. It says Mason is multiplying 3 times 5 times 1/10 times 1/10. In order to solve this, I'm going to first solve 3 times 5, which is 15, times 1/10 times 1/10 is going to be 1/10, and that's going to give me, 100th, and that's going to give me 15 hundredths, or 0.15. I just actually answered number 2 as well. Complete Mason's work to find the product, write it as a decimal, which is what I did here. It says I'm going to actually mix these up. Sorry about that. It says what decimal multiplication problem is he solving? So it would actually be 3/10 times 5/10, which gives us 15/10, which we have there. Okay. Use properties to find each product. Write the product as a decimal. I'm going to do this one mentally because I know that 7 times 3 is 21. And I really just have to place my decimal. 2 decimal places in the problem, 2 decimal places in the answer. That is the only mental math problem here. The other 3 I'm going to do on lined paper. And I'm going to start with number 4, 0.63 times 2.8. And I'm just going to do this as if there are no decimals in the problem. I'll just do a regular multiplication problem. Okay, do my maintenance steps. And add them up. And we have 1, 2, 3 decimal places in the problem, so I need 1, 2, 3 decimal places in the answer. 1.764 or 1 and 764 thousandths. Let's try number 5. And you should be trying these right along with me. Again, we're going to multiply these as if there are no decimals in the problem. And add these up. 1, 2, 1, 2. 3.64 or 3 and 64 hundredths. And number 6. I'm going to actually put 0.08 up top just because it has 3 digits and the other one only has 2. So that times 4.5. Let's add these up. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 0.360 or 360 thousandths or 36 hundredths would be equal to that as well. Today, when you're doing this work, I want you to notice there's not a lot of space here. I would like for you to do these on your math notebook and then put your answers in your math book. But I don't want you to do all the work in the math book. There really isn't enough room. You also have some problem solving to do today. And there you go. Good luck, and I will see you next time.